welcome to the Cast-Off. This is the show where two contestants compete by recasting your favorite actors in movies you love. I'm your host, Craig Price, and tonight, since it is my anniversary today, I thought, why not celebrate love? And what does that more than a wedding and the movie Bridesmaids? So while it is my anniversary, I do want to make sure that I say that I love my wife. This is my wife, Heather. It's our 17th anniversary. She has not tried to kill me more than once, to which I appreciate, and I don't know how I got so lucky. So now that I got that out of the way, I can move on to our guest, because I wanted to make sure that she knows, because she's watching, that I love her. All right. Tonight, we've got some great contestants from the Visually Stunning Movie Podcast. We've got Mark Woodring. And from the Clubhouse Podcast on the Vocal Network, Alex Barnhill is back. How are you guys?
Very well.
Doing great.
All right. We'll start with the newbie. And Mark, thanks for coming on the show. You're one of those folks that applied online. How'd you hear about the show?
From a friend of mine, Tracy Mangum, that's been on the show a couple of times, I believe.
Tracy's a great contestant, and he's going to be on our Lord of the Rings special coming up this month. We'll get to that in a moment. But
all the folks over at Movies That Make Us, yes, indeed.
Yeah, they're fantastic, and it was a great time. Unfortunately, they're just so big, the episodes. Usually we do like an hour. It's the Lord of the Rings. You can't even talk about the credits in an hour. So talk about your podcast. It's the Visually Stunning Movie Podcast, which is visually stunning in an audio format.
It is visually stunning in an audio format, and that is a very old joke. If you're familiar with the film Jupiter Ascending, the first time I saw the trailer for that in the theaters, the first blurb that they bothered to throw up on the screen was visually stunning. And it dawned on me that every time that's what Hollywood does, if they're pimping this movie is visually stunning, that means that movie is going to be terrible.
Yes, because there's no plot.
Because if the best thing about a movie is that it's visually stunning, then they've done something terribly wrong.
Absolutely.
And so the podcast is it's a bad joke, but it's one that's stuck in my head, and I needed a name for our podcast.
So what do you guys cover over on there? Obviously movies, but do you cover new movies, old movies?
We cover mostly new movies, a lot of indie films. My co-host is Ryan Painter. He's the entertainment guy on our local CBS channel, actually. But we do mostly new stuff. Every Christmas, we do a special kind of off-the-wall Christmas movie that we like to talk about. The first one we did, I said, hey, we should do a Christmas episode. And he was like, I was like, do you have a Christmas movie? And he didn't blink. He went, Rare Exports. And I was like, literally, that took you a third of a second. He's like, I've been waiting to talk about that movie for like years.
Okay.
And if you've never seen Rare Exports, we cannot recommend that enough.
Okay. Who's in that?
It's a foreign film. Don't ask me to recap it right now. There's an episode. If you go to vsmoviepodcast.com, search for Rare Exports, you'll find it.
Well, always appreciate when they make me read when they promote a brand new show. So Mark, thank you for coming on. I really appreciate it, and I hope you have a good time, and I hope you've been watching so you can get a feel for it, because Alex has been on more than once, and he has a slight advantage, even though he's having some mic issues at the moment. Alex, how are you, sir?
I'm doing well. I'm just jealous because our title for the Clubhouse Podcast doesn't have nearly as cool of a title. A story behind it. I'm never going to forget Visually Stunning Movie Podcast now. That's great.
And now people think you're some kind of weird social media platform.
Well, there's a bunch going on in the middle there. So there's people that want to take over, but we still have the clubhousepodcast.com. And I haven't seen any offers for it yet that are worthwhile.
So what's been going on with the Clubhouse this summer?
We've actually been covering a lot of sports because the world's still being shut down. We actually have our first live screening tomorrow night.
Oh, what are you screening?
So we'll be seeing The Hitman's Wife's Bodyguard.
Oh,
so we'll
also catching that one.
Yeah, that's great.
So we'll have new reviews popped up and another mini episode, if you will, in between our normal Sundays on vokalnow.com.
Yeah, I miss the old screenings because when I lived in Houston, I was in the know, and then when I moved out of state, I'm not on the list, and they look at you like you're a mutant with like 5 foreheads and 3. They just treat you like you're garbage. Now that I'm in Los Angeles,
that gets you in the door first.
Yeah, now that I'm in Los Angeles, it's even worse because everybody says they're a critic, and everybody's in the movie industry, and they actually are.
Well, everybody is a critic at least.
Well, let's get to the rules, and the rules are fairly simple. I am going to show you a character and the original actor, and you're going to give me the replacement of who you think would make a good replacement for them. And then obviously the best choice will get a point. If you happen to get my secret selection, that's an additional 1 point. Now, be aware, and this has been happening more and more. I don't know why the judges have been betraying my choice is usually the best choice. I mean, it's true. It's just the way it is. And so oftentimes, if you pick mine, you're going to get 2 points. But several times, people have picked mine and it has gone the other way because the other 2 judges decided wrongly to go with someone else. So don't think it's a guaranteed slam dunk, but it is a great way to come back if you start to slip away and you think that you can't make it and you're running out of time. The secret selection is always a good way to get back. Person with the most points wins because it's America. And if there's a tie, we will go to a double feature to win. This double feature, I do not know, and they'll have to spring it to me. And if and when that happens, I will have all the rules for you at that time. But as always, I want you to know that this show is brought to you by Matinee Heroes, and June is Put a Ring on It month, as Matinee Heroes and the people from Movies That Make Us all month long will be doing the Lord of the Rings trilogy with special guests Jake Dietz, Val Cameron, and Tracy Mangum. Now, this Saturday, Jake Dietz joins us for the Two Towers. You can subscribe to the podcast over at matineeheroes.com/subscribe. And while you're there, you can head over to matineeheroes.com/castoff, and you can sign up for the video stream or the audio stream, knowing that the post show is exclusively on the audio podcast every Thursday. And if you're enjoying the cast off, you can please head over to matineeheroes.com/off. You can get every stream. We have Twitch. We've got ourselves on Facebook. And if you're listening to The Lord of the Rings, we have a special contest going on until the 18th of June where you can recast The Fellowship, and you might just win the Blu-ray for the entire trilogy, theatrical and extended editions, which is 9 DVD sets. So please head over to matineeheroes.com, download and listen to our Lord of the Rings specials, and send in your submissions. But now, let's get on to one of the best, and I hate to say female comedies because it's a great comedy in general, regardless of gender. But these women you see right before you, there is not a weak cast member in the bunch. And so this is going to be fairly difficult. And we start with the star and the co-writer of Bridesmaids, Kristen Wiig. She played Annie Walker, and Annie is a little jealous that her friend is not only getting married, but seems to have found a new best friend. So we'll start with you, Mark. You won the coin toss. See, you got me doing it. You won the coin toss, and we'll start with you. Who do you have possibly replacing the great and amazing Kristen Wiig?
Well, you're correct. There's not a weak link in this cast at all. So to replace anyone, it is difficult enough, but to replace all of them is just ridiculously difficult. So a comedy this good with a cast this good deserved replacements of fairly high stature and talent. So
of the highest caliber.
Of the highest caliber, yes. I didn't want to go there, but I would. So I dipped into maybe an actress who isn't really known for comedy as much as I think she's capable of and has shown glimpses of throughout her career. And that is Kate Winslet.
Absolutely. Kate Winslet, known for letting Jack die, and she did. There was plenty of room on that door. She was just not willing to do it. She's like, I'm hitting it and quitting it. So she was in Titanic, Eternal Sunshine for the Spotless Mind. She was in the Divergent series, but she was also in that very horrible movie 43, where that was supposedly a comedy. So have you looked at the cast list of movie 43?
I have not.
It is an astounding amount of Oscar winners in a horrible, horrible, horrible comedy. So
can't blame the actors for a bad movie.
Well, you can.
A bad idea.
Yeah.
Bad idea.
I just can't believe that so many of them thought it was still a good idea. But Kate Winslet is very funny, very sweet. I think she'd be perfect for it. So we'll head over to Alex. Alex, who do you have with going up against Kate Winslet?
Well, I have to concur. Like, there is not a weak link in the entire bunch. But one of the things that I always found very interesting about Bridesmaids is the movie is so strong without any single character or actress overpowering another. So going with somebody who might be a little bit more demure, but in that comedy vein, I thought Alison Brie would be able to fill in as Annie Walker quite well.
Ah, yes, Alison Brie, very pretty, very versatile. She can be several of the ladies that we have tonight, because one of the things we have in a comedy this broad with this many people in it is that you find them, they're going to be a niche. She's going to, like, Kristen Wiig is like the kind of the normal one, and then we have the perfect one, which would be Maya. Then we have the one who's too perfect and she's irritating, Rose Byrne. Then we have the one that's kind of a guy, kind of dumpy. We have Melissa McCarthy. And then we got the one that's innocent. We got all kinds of things. Alison Brie can play almost all of them. Community, Mad Men, Glow. She was in The Post, and she's married to the disaster artist. She's like the disaster artist-in-law. She's married to Dave Franco, so he's a lucky SOB. Being the lesser Franco.
That's debatable.
Well, I meant on screen, maybe not in real life.
Depends on timing.
Yeah, we got Kate Winslet. We got Alison Brie. I picked Tina Fey. I mean, you need someone. I figured you needed someone with a big name who can anchor it, and she can be that frazzled. I think that's the great thing about Kristen Wiig is Kristen Wiig plays frazzled ladies remarkably. And the judges went with Alison Brie. So Alex gets the first point, but there's plenty more to go. As we go to, I call the anchor. This is Maya Rudolph, who can play any character you give her. And we see her right now doing her crowning achievement in the movie, which only a quality comedic actress can put herself in such a vulnerable situation, because you know that Kate Winslet, not being in this situation, may not want to take a crap in the middle of Park Avenue. I don't know. So she is the bride-to-be, Lillian Donovan, and we'll start with Alex. Alex, who do you have going as Maya Rudolph's Lillian Donovan?
Well, I always found the character that Maya Rudolph played as the central focal point for this universe to circle around. So having somebody who is talented while also being able to stay the line while there's this craziness running around them, I thought nobody could be better at this than Rashida Jones.
And it's interesting you say that, because Maya Rudolph usually plays some very outrageous characters, but you're right. She can be that calming center, just like Rashida Jones can. And she pretty much is known to be the BFF in Parks and Rec. She was in some movies like I Love You Man, The Social Network, The Muppets, and then, of course, Tag. The hilarious Tag. Have you guys seen that one with Jeremy Renner?
I'm actually a big fan of Tag. I
thought it was good.
How good it was.
Yeah.
It keeps slipping through the cracks.
It's one of those stupid movies that you would thought was going to be stupid, and actually is fairly funny, almost like Date Night. Date Night was fairly good with Jason Bateman in it. But
great balance of very funny and pulling at the heartstrings.
And Rashida Jones can do that as well. Mark, who do you have going up against Rashida Jones?
I don't. You know what? That's a really good pick, Alex.
Thank you.
Excellent. That's an excellent pick. Let's see if I can get close to that. You're right. Maya she's normal.
She is.
She's more normal than Kristen Wiig is in this film. But she's also a little just off kilter enough that she's not quite weird. It's just one of the. She's just that on the edge person, but that you can't help but love, really, when you're watching her, when you're around her, you want to be around her. And but again, she's funny when she needs to be. And I saw a film a couple years ago called Little Monsters, and I don't know if you're familiar with that. Not the really old 80s.
No, on Hulu. 90s. It was a Hulu. On Hulu. It was a Hulu original, I believe.
It was. I actually caught it during Sundance. I believe during Sundance. And Lupita Nyong'o really plays. She held that movie together in the middle of this zombie apocalypse with this preschool camp type class. So there was that humorous edge with the heart stuff. Honestly, I was hoping to have the opportunity to put another person from that film in whatever movie we were going to cover, but I'm not going to say his name.
All right. Well, we'll talk about that in our post show.
If I could interject, Mark, that is a fantastic pick. That's actually the last cut I had before Rashida Jones. So great choice.
Because I say she's a graceful, noble character, a lot of graceful, noble characters, and she does. She is definitely a A-list Oscar winner type of character actress who is in 12 Years a Slave, is in Black Panther, and then she can get a little quirky in Us. She's still being very dramatic and very, very good, but then she starts to be the little goggled-eyed lady in Star Wars sequels and the Little Monsters thing, and I think you're right. I think she's got that right mix, and I think she would be really good funny. So we have Rashida Jones, Lupita Nyong'o. I went with Kristen Bell. Because the same thing that Maya Rudolph has, that Kristen Bell has, is they can play normal, but they're fearless. And so when they're put into weird situations, and they will take a dump on Fifth Avenue, where other actors might be like, "How do you do this?" and not, they just do it, and they're willing to do whatever they have to get it done. The judges conferred, they talked, and they hemmed and hawed, and they went with Rashida Jones, probably because she already has the guaranteed comedic chops. I think is probably that one. You know that's going to happen. That she's going to be funny. Well, now we get to someone who was not known as a comedian, but now has been in a lot more funny things, and that is Rose Byrne playing Little Miss Perfect, Helen Harris III, which I've never really heard of women being the thirds. We will start with Mark. Mark, who do you have playing the lovely English actress who ends up, we think she's a horrible person because she's so snooty, but we find out that she's actually a sweetheart?
Well, yes. So Helen Harris III is she's very graceful and polite and genteel and just a little bit mean and a little bit just a little bit crazy. And so you need an actress that can be beautiful and kind of mean at the same time. And so I searched and I found Charlize Theron.
Well, you don't have to search very far because Charlize Theron is widely known here at Matinee Heroes. One of my favorites of all time. She is a living angel. You can listen to Mad Max Fury Road on the podcast. She's great at changing into the person, like in Bombshell and Monster. She looks like the people. It's crazy. But then she can still kick butt, and, she has been in comedies, so I think she'd be, unfortunately, there are a lot of Seth MacFarlane comedies, so they're not that great, but she's not horrible in it. She's perfect.
She is perfect.
That's right. Alex, this one's going to be very difficult, because...
Well, yeah, I'm going to call shenanigans right off the bat.
No,
I know Mark's been watching the show. You pick Charlize Theron, you automatically get Craig's vote. At
now,
the same time...
I will say, hold on a second, let me say something real quick. We had the Utah Remote Con, Ocean's 8, and every single person on Movies That Make Us picked Charlize Theron for one of the ladies and did not win. So it's just because you pick Charlize doesn't mean it's a guarantee.
Well, it's a guarantee on one vote because you're hosting the show. But at that same point...
on some of them I don't, so you take that.
Oh, let me have my fun. But... It's absolutely a character that is bordering on elitist to ranging into mean girls, but also being still likable. And I think the best fit, at least for my thought process, was Kobe Smulders. Yes,
I don't know if a lot of people recognize the name, but they'll definitely recognize the face and what she's been in, because she was basically the MacGuffin of How I Met Your Mother. Of course, she's Maria Hill in the Avengers movies. Then, of course, she was kicking butt and taking names next to Tom Cruise and Jack Reacher. Unfortunately, she probably had to spend most of that time in a ditch so she could be the same height as Tom Cruise.
No, he has his box.
No, they dug ditches. That's what they did. They did that for another movie. That's crazy. And, of course, because she, like I, love our spouses, she was in Killing Gunther, written by her husband, Taron Killen. And, of course, she's Wonder Woman in the Lego movies, so she's got it all covered.
Good choice.
Yeah, we've got Charlize Theron, Kobe Smulders. I went with like a Julia Louis-Dreyfus type because a younger version, because she actually she's just like Rose, or at least Helen. Like, she comes from a billionaire family. I don't think people know that. Julia Louis-Dreyfus doesn't have to do anything. Her family is stinking rich. And she can play that uppity type, but also she's very sweet. She's crazy and funny and wonderful in real life. But we got to go with Charlize Theron. It's just the way it is. So Mark gets the point. He's He's playing on the history. There you go. Only down by 1 with 4 more to go. Plenty. There's 8 points on the board.
Don't worry. This is where my casting goes off the rails. So we're good.
Wait. I have a train too, my friend.
Well, next we get to Melissa McCarthy's breakout role, because before this, I think she was doing the television show, but it wasn't a smash hit. I think a lot of people saw her in things, but didn't know who she was. She plays the sexually aggressive Megan Price, no relation. So we'll start with Alex, and this is her crowning achievement. She couldn't get to the street. She just couldn't make it. Alex, who do you have playing Megan?
So one of the things I wanted to focus on with this is, as crazy as this portrayal is by Melissa McCarthy, it has so much heart and so much well-meaning in it that you needed somebody that could be crazy but likable. So I went with Kate McKinnon.
Yes, she is completely crazy and completely wonderful, and as crazier she gets, the more you like her. And she's off-putting, but you still think she's wonderful. She is. So she's not been in a lot of TV shows. I mean, movies. She's been in obviously SNL, but she was in Ghostbusters, which I thought was a good movie, but it came out at the wrong time because all the toxic males were upset. She's done some voices. She was in The Spy Who Dumped Me, Bombshell. I think she's great. I really like her, and I think she's been killing it lately on SNL. So we'll get with Mark. Mark, who do you have going up against Kate McKinnon?
Alex, I agree with all of your criteria. She's crazy. But there's a lot of heart in Megan Price, and for that reason, I totally did not pick Kate McKinnon. I went Kathy Bates.
Nice. She's known for being a number one.
The entire field.
Yep, known for being a number one fan. I tried to find a younger picture of her because we're trying to get just so people get a mental picture. But she actually came to stardom later in life. She's great. She was in Misery, which you can hear on Matinee Heroes. She was in Dick Tracy, which you can hear on Matinee Heroes. She was the unsinkable Molly Brown, but she can do comedy. She's in The Waterboy with Adam Sandler, which is not easy to work against. That was back when Adam was still funny. So now he's just cranking out the movies for that $100 million from Netflix. They don't care as long as it's got Adam's name on it. And she's fearless, as we saw in her nude scene in About Schmidt. So we have Kate McKinnon, Kathy Bates. I went with Megan Mullally.
Because
that was my last one.
Because
was my last one I cut before Kate McKinnon.
The reason I picked Megan is because every scene that Melissa is in with her husband, who's the ward, is the air marshal.
Yes,
that is who I'm thinking. And I was thinking of Megan and Nick Offerman and how they react to each other all the time, and that would have been hilarious.
That's exactly why I was thinking of her too, and I was like, the air marshal's not on our.
No, he's not on the list. There's only 7. The judges went with Kate McKinnon. Oh. So
I
Alex
did not expect to win that one. I really like the Kathy Bates pick.
Yeah, Kathy.
That one's like that was like the first one. I was going down the list. I was like, oh, that's totally Kathy Bates.
And there is not a bad one on this list. You guys did a great job casting. I know what's coming up. There's still not bad ones. You guys really hit every single one really well. Well, let's get to not only a TV mom where she is on The Goldbergs, where she plays crazy weird, but she plays regular mom quite well, as we see here, Wendy McClendon Covey, who only wants to really go do all this stuff to get away from her kids. And let's be honest, if you have as many as she has, and being from Utah, Mark, understand, you don't even want to go out to eat because they have more 10 tabletops than they have 2 tabletops at a restaurant. It's crazy.
Fact.
It's a fact.
That's not even a lie.
Yep. Me and my wife.
I have one child. You know why? Because I'm not stupid. And she is 20
shots fired on the state of Utah. From within.
I've been here long enough. I'll do that.
Yeah.
There you go.
Well, we're going to start with Mark. Mark, who do you have playing the most normal? I think she's the most normal person in the cast who just wants to get away from everything else because everybody else is already living their lives.
Well, yes, but she's also she's an angry mom, but a loving mom. She's got just a caustic wit. when she decides that she needs to speak. And honestly, the only name that I could come up with to play that kind of character was a younger Shirley MacLaine.
Absolutely.
That's a great pick.
And she's known for living multiple lives because we saw her in one of the greatest movies of all time, The Apartment. And then she was in Terms of Endearment, which is a magnificent movie. She's in Steel Magnolias, which we've recast here on the show, which is a fantastic movie. Postcards from the Edge is about Carrie Fisher's life. So she was actually Debbie Reynolds in that movie.
Yep.
But even she will slum for money, as she has been in Cannonball Run 2, a movie known to be made just so Bert can hang out with his friends.
Everyone was in Cannonball Run 2.
Yeah.
But you can't hold that against anybody.
No. If I could get paid millions of dollars and hang out with my friends, I'd do it. I'm doing this for free.
Right?
So, I mean,
why do you think Adam Sandler still has friends?
Yeah.
$100 million from Netflix.
Yeah, when you pay your friends, they'll stick around for much longer. All right. Alex, who do you have as the semi-normal mom?
That's a real tough one. I was actually thinking of this character of Rita as possibly supposed to be named Karen, because it's always one bad moment away from "Can I see your manager?" and flying completely off the rails. So the only person I could think of to be, like Mark said, with the caustic wit and being kind of on edge was Mindy Kaling.
Now, Mindy Kaling, my wife thinks the world of her. I'm not a big fan of her, but she always plays these self-absorbed characters, which is perfect because she writes a lot of it. So it's not like she's the one that's being exploited. She knows what she's good at.
She's aware.
So she was in The Wrinkle in Time, Ocean's 8, which we did recast as well. Late Night with the great Emma Thompson. So we have Shirley MacLaine, Mindy Kaling. I went with when you need a mom, you go with Leslie Mann. She plays every mom that's ever been out since 2004, I think. So that shows my age. I was like, since 1998, because I think that's only 10 years ago, because I'm old. Well, the judges conspired, and Shirley MacLaine. Yeah.
That's a good pick.
That is.
Still in it.
All right. Yes, you are. You're still in it. You're only down by one, and there's 4 potential points still left on the board. Now we get to this innocent and sweet Becca, played by the innocent and sweet Ellie Kemper. You want to talk about someone who was stereotyped into a role? I mean, this was made for her. Ellie Kemper can't play anything but super sweet and nice. So, Alex, who do you have playing? I can't. Becca.
Sorry.
That's right. She's one name, Becca.
Yes, but as with all of the characters, there's this heart, but her innocence to naivete. And I will totally admit that this pick was inspired by me watching a lot of Brooklyn Nine-Nine lately. And it's Melissa Fumero, who is exactly Becca in a cop uniform, basically.
Yeah. She's known for uptight type A characters, as she is on Brooklyn Nine-Nine, where she's amazing. She's great. Not a lot. She's done a lot of one-shots all over the place. Mm-hmm. The only time she was really in something of substance was Brooklyn Nine-Nine and One Life to Live. She was in 200 and some odd episodes of that. She's also in the new MODOK animated series on Hulu. She plays, obviously, Missy, the younger MODOK female. I was wondering, is she the mom? Nope. She is the sarcastic daughter. A very good pick. So now we're going to get to Mark. Mark, Melissa Fumero, she's new to the scene, but already has a big following. Who do you have?
Quick tangent. I have yet to watch Brooklyn Nine-Nine.
Oh, you.
I understand it's wonderful.
If I could deduct points,
it is wonderful.
If I could deduct points on a whim, I would, but it's already been predetermined. That is ridiculous.
I will watch it if you can give me more hours in my day.
Yeah, I can.
If you can do that, then
you know what? Get up an hour earlier tomorrow. There you go.
I already get up at 5 a.m.
Nope, get up at 4. You're getting old. You can get up.
I know, right?
You're only 3 years older than me. You can do it. You can do it.
There you go. So Becca, you're right. This kind of sweet, innocent, maybe just like almost the little sistery kind of position in this group. I went. One of my favorite, and I say young actresses, and that just belies my age, and that's Anna Paquin.
Absolutely. known for her southern accented vampires, like she was in True Blood, and she plays Rogue in the X-Men movies, which is basically a vampire. She's a power vampire. She's the second youngest Oscar winner from the piano. So that's why when you say young, she still is young. I mean, yeah. She was, and of course, she was in Amistad, but also in The Irishman, Martin Scorsese. She didn't have any lines. I think her whole subplot was taken out or something because she was just at the end.
Well, they had to get it down under 4 hours.
Did they have to?
Well, if Zack Snyder is in charge, no, they don't have to. But that's a different story.
Well, Martin Scorsese knows how to edit, at least.
Sure.
All right. Well, we've got Melissa Fumero. We've got Anna Paquin. I went with the other receptionist of The Office.
That is another good pick.
Is Jenna Fisher, because I couldn't think of. There's not that many. Let's be honest. There's not that many sweet and innocent people who are funny. They're usually
Dharma.
played. Yeah, she can be a little sarcastic too, but.
Yes, she can.
Oh, now this is not Dharma. Did you say Dharma?
I did.
Yeah, this is the.
Oh no, you're right. Sorry.
That's a different Jenna.
On the other side.
Yeah. This is a different Jenna. But
wow, that's terrible.
The judges have decided, and Melissa Fumero. So we still have a game. It's not looking good though.
No, it is not
for you, Mark. Alex, honestly, you are in a sweet spot.
Well, I could give Mark some comfort here. My last pick is purely just for me. I'm not joking.
Okay. Well,
all right.
Well, let's get to that last pick, and we finally get to the love interest, the main guy. No, not John Hamm. He's a jerk. This one is Chris O'Dowd playing Officer Nathan Rhodes. He is such a sweet guy, a nice guy. He keeps pulling over Kristen Wiig's character and flirting with her, and he's just a really nice guy. So who do you have? And we're going to start with Mark. Who do you have playing a really nice guy?
Well, he's nice, and he is also a bit snarky.
Yeah.
But he's a good person. He's awkward. But again, he is at his core, he's very sweet. He's just maybe not the most socially adept kind of person. So I needed someone that could be funny, that could be serious, that could be heartfelt. And I went with the best version of Robin Williams, who would take the smaller role, but make it really, really great.
Now, I tried to find a non-zany picture because I knew exactly what you were talking about. I knew exactly what you were talking about. The world according to Garp kind of Robin Williams. That's the kind of guy you're looking for. And so this is the only one in color I could find. There are a lot of him and he's young and in black and white, or he's from work acting weird. But super uber talented legend in Popeye, World According to Garp, Fisher King, What Dreams May Come, Good Morning Vietnam. All of those we have covered on Matinee Heroes. We devoted an entire month to Robin Williams because he is my personal hero, and Alan Cerny and I both love him to death, and he was certainly someone who went too soon. So pulling at the heartstrings for the last one, Alex, who do you have that could possibly beat Robin Williams?
Well, I want to clarify. My statement was this pick is for me. I love Robin Williams. Might be my favorite actor of all time, favorite comedian. Fill in the blank. The dude does everything and has done everything. Definitely miss him. But for me, thinking of Chris O'Dowd being a little bit weird, but still a good-looking and funny guy. And for some reason, I couldn't get rid of the idea of him still having the accent while still being funny. And I thought, who fits this mold that I've enjoyed so much over the last year? And all I could go back to was Letterkenny with Jared Keeso.
Now, I'll be honest with you. I think I've seen an episode of Letterkenny, and I think I was at my father-in-law's house at the time, so I really wasn't paying attention to it. So I had to do some research on it. He's a Canadian farmer with a very thick Ontario Canadian accent. It's very specific, and he's very monotone, very stiff, I guess.
Very funny.
But
honestly, as terrible as it is to say, it might be the funniest show I've ever seen.
Well, he also has done other things, and that was the thing I was like, what can I find him in? Because I've never seen him in anything, but apparently I have. He was in Godzilla. He was in Elysium, the Noel Blomkamp movie. I Love You, Beth Cooper, Smoking Aces 2. So let's break this down. We've got Robin Williams. we've got Jared Kiso. So this is what has to happen, Mark, for you to win.
I know.
Well, first off, you have to get the pick right, which, being it's Robin Williams, a personal hero of mine, odds are
that I didn't. It
could definitely be it. Well, odds are you've got someone that I'm looking at. Then you have Jared Kiso, a guy I've never heard of, a guy I've never seen before. So it really could. You are in the best possible position I've ever seen someone down to before at the very end. But we went with Jared Kiso because I don't get to vote. In fact, I don't think I voted for Robin Williams because I don't see Robin Williams in this particular thing. I think he was overwhelmingly a favorite. So that means that, Alex, you are today's winner, and you have today's final thought.
Well, I am honestly shocked at this because as with anybody I've gone up against, I've looked into the Visually Stunning Movie Podcast, and it's really great. Mark, you do a fantastic job. But I will also do the shameless self-promotion of every Sunday night at vokalnow.com. You can catch the Cheap Popcast at 4:30 Central, and then 6 o'clock we will have the Clubhouse Podcast where we cover pop culture.
Absolutely. Well done, both of you. Great first showing, Mark. But we must move on to next week, where we have George Tripsis from the Metal Geek Podcast, his first time on, playing against returning player Jen Rome, as we prepare for another physics-defying sequel to the Fast and Furious franchise with what everyone tells me is the one you should watch, Fast 5. I have no idea. I've only seen 2, the first one, and the first one was Charlize Theron. And that was because Steve Condrick, who is screaming that he has not been picked for this, made me watch it for his podcast. Well, let's go back there. If you like the show, you can follow us on Twitter at The Castoff Show, which is a brand new handle this year. You can go to the Facebook group, and you can obviously please go to matineeheroes.com/castoff, where you can find all of the options to stream us, including twitch.tv at Matinee Heroes. And if you want to be on the show, do what Mark did. Submit your application to matineeheroes.com/castoff/application, or you can just send me an email, and I will direct you to that link at mhcastoff@gmail.com. But before we go, I do want people to know that we have been nominated. Both the Castoff and Matinee Heroes have been nominated for Quite the Thing Media Awards. The Castoff in the special interest category, and Matinee Heroes in the television and film category. So please head over to bit.ly/QTT voting and vote for the show. Voting ends on June 19th, which is odd because the submissions for our contest for the Lord of the Rings ends on the 18th. So you've got a lot of that last week. Before we go, I do want to say special thanks to our additional judges, who both of them picked Jared Kiso. There's no way I would have. Now that I'm thinking about it, I think I did because I just have no idea who he is. But Chaz Evans, last week's winner, and fan favorite Elizabeth Rapp, who not only is great on the podcast, she's won here on the show, and she'll be doing The Nice Guys sometime in July. So always good. So on behalf of Mark Woodring and tonight's winner, Alex Barnhill, I am Craig Price, and once again, this has been The Castoff. We will see you next week. See, there's the tech thing. It finally happened at the very end. Thank God. It only happened at the very end. We'll see you next week.